What's up, guys? Episode 3 on Brawl Stars Road to Masters. As you can see, we're starting off same place as yesterday. 6,151 elo. Let's get into our first match. So, I will be uploading a video tomorrow, and it's going to go over where I'm planning on heading with our channel. I think that I'm going to make some changes to the content. I've gotten some recommendations that the hour-long videos may be a little bit too long, so I'm gonna make a video with some potential video formats, and I'm gonna drop a poll in the comments. Hopefully you guys will be able to leave some suggestions for me. But anyways, I didn't really get a good ban there. Well, Bull's a decent ban, but Sneaky Fields, we're gonna go with a anti-tank. And of course, I think that Crow's going to be a really solid first pick here. Let's see what opponents select, but also what my teammates have to choose. They go for Griff, which honestly maybe would have been a better brawler for me to ban, but it's going to be all right. I think if we go maybe with a bow potentially, that could be decent. They go for a Lumi as well, so they went with two good anti-tanks. I like the Pierce shout from my third teammate. Okay, honestly, Mina seems decent as well. Okay, Rico. And then, honestly, we don't have a wall break though, so I'm not really sure about the Pierce. Maybe I will recommend the Colt to maybe get some wall break, but that Griff does have wall break, so that could be good enough. Yeah. All right, I think it's gonna be fine if teammate goes Pierce. Let's hope the opponents don't go for a really strong assassin-esque brawler. Honestly, we are somewhat weak to thrower as well, but if the Griff opens up the map, that's going to be to our benefit, so we're going to have to see how this plays out here. All right, match 1, guys. Here we go. Lumi places gadget. Sirius walking up. I'm gonna get a few hits on it successfully. Gonna try and get in the bush here. Push up on this Sirius. I'm able to take it down, I think. Pierce does. Try and get some shots in on this Lumi. Pop my gadget and... Okay, I think the gadget wasn't necessary there because we did get a goal, but I did want to lower the Lumi in case it was going to pose some difficulties. Griff coming in from the side. Going to try and maneuver out of that, and I do get it pretty low. Teammate's able to take care of it. As the map starts to open up a little bit via the Griff, I think it's going to turn into more of our advantage. I think potentially I might consider a jump onto the Sirius. Although it could also be somewhat risky if he has a lot of shadows. All right, luckily that doesn't go in. I think that I'll place it in this strong corner for us. Griff does have a hypercharge. I almost have my hypercharge. I think that if I jump on this Sirius, I'll be able to charge my hypercharge. And, all right, I was about to pop gadget there. I'm able to get Griff to use his hypercharge, which is good. 40 seconds left. Halfway to my hypercharge super. Trying to whittle that griff down a little bit. And if we're able to hold, which I think we will be able to, it will be a successful game one. Ten seconds left. Teammates do a really good job. I'm gonna just go ahead and pop this super, and nice. Game one's a victory there. Let's try and replicate this, game two. All right, both teammates, did get caught in that Lumi super. Let's see, okay, I think that I'll be able to maybe take down that Sirius, which is really good. Need to watch out for this Griff super. It does take me down, but teammate unfortunately does get hit by the Griff gadget there, so they score early, but should be potential for us to come back, hopefully. Maybe I'll consider a jump onto that Griff. And teammates are able to get the Lumi down. Honestly, since we're down a goal, I think if I'm able to get to my hypercharge as quickly as possible, that's going to be best case scenario. Pop this gadget. All right, I do have my hypercharge super now. And all right, I think it's gonna be time to use it now, because if I can get through now, I'm clear in on goal. And that's gonna be well played by me for a tie game. Almost got back to another super, which is good. Might serve handy in overtime, which I think is gonna be where this game is headed. And I think we will have advantage in overtime, hopefully. Try and get some poison out. Pierce goes for a hypercharge. I am almost able to get down this Sirius, but unfortunately not. I wonder if Pierce is going to be able to slot a goal in. He wasn't able to. Griff hypercharge coming in. Need to watch out. Loom hypercharge. I'm going to just try and jump in super here. And teammates are barely able to clear it off. And Rico's going up with the ball. Takes the Lumi down. Griff super coming in. I'm going to try and get some poison out. I do get caught slightly. I'm almost at a super. All right. Almost at a hypercharge for that matter. And I think that I'll just try and hypercharge and then walk the ball in. And yes! What a way to end match one, guys. 2 wins there. Pierce puts up some really good stats. And all right, let's hop into match 2. We have hot zone, quick travel. We have first pick. I'm hoping that my teammate's gonna have a Griff. I think that I'll potentially ban Maybe like a Chester. I mean, I didn't really have enough time to really lock in a band there. Bull first pick is all right. It's definitely a good brawler, but I think it gives them opportunity to pick 2 counters into it, which is going to be unfortunate. They go for a Shelly, which is, I would say, a little bit of an off-meta pick, which is good for us. Crow is still open for me. And they also go for a Surge. Crow is definitely a good option. There's a lot of bush coverage on this map on the side, so I think Crow could be good at scouting that. I think that, yeah, I'll just lock in the Crow for now. Let's see if I can recommend a brawler to teammate. Okay, he goes for a Sirius, which is always a pretty safe pick. They only have means of wall break via the Shelly super right now, so hopefully it stays that way. Okay, we did get a disconnect there. And Flaring Phoenix. Honestly, I do like Knockout a lot more than Hot Zone, so I'm not complaining about this. And guys, I did actually forget to set up our timer, but I think that I'll set it up for 50 minutes, probably. Anyways, Flaring Phoenix, we have first pick. I think that I'll ban a good last pick, maybe like a Ziggy, potentially. All right, and I also got the timer started just now. I think that I'll recommend our first teammate, Crow, because that's a solid first pick anywhere, really. And if, okay, he locks in Jean, which is also really safe. And if this last teammate can get the Pierce pick, that's going to be amazing because Pierce is also a very strong brawler. Guys, Jean is a very safe first pick in Bounty and Knockout generally, so if you do have that, it's pretty safe. They go with the Gray and Pierce, which are both really good brawlers. Gray has the teleport, so I don't necessarily want to pick a thrower yet. I think that Gus could be all right. Pretty beefy brawler. I could maybe go for the Nani, but I think on this map, Gus, it's going to get a little bit more close range. I think Gus is going to be better. And I think Sirius probably can defend himself slightly better into the aggro than other throwers due to its shadows. So I think that I'm okay with teammate going with the Sirius. I'm just, hopefully he sticks with that, and he does. So it's going to come down to the opponent's last pick. They do have an option. Okay, they go for a thrower. I do keep forgetting that. I guess we do have a throw of our own, but I think Tick outranges, so it's going to be interesting. I think Tick's a pretty solid last pick there. Let's see how this plays out, though. Okay. I think I'm going to go up on this left-hand side to start with. I don't think I'm going to have much luck, though, walking into that Tick. Our Jean goes pretty aggressive there. Hopefully... I unfortunately go down to the Pierce. I was trying to give our Jean some cover fire to retreat, but it didn't. I overextended it a little bit myself there, unfortunately. Something to keep in mind. So, yeah, it looks like round 1 will be a loss, but hopefully we're able to improve this round. Really well played there by my Jean. Solid pull. I'm able to get the finish off on the Tick. I'm one hit off super, which is going to be really good in case I get teleported on. Wow. 5,600 damage. I didn't realize Pierce super did that much. Pierce is pretty low, and wow, Sirius did really well there. Well played by my Sirius. Let's see if I'm going to be able to charge up my first super. And I do, which is pretty good. Gonna go back just in case here. I wonder if Gray had to use a teleport there. That would be good if he wasted his teleport to escape. Jean does have a pull. I'll pop super just to be really safe here. I definitely don't want to go down. And hopefully I'm able to walk up into my ghost. And, alright. Really well played by us there. We were all able to stay alive till endgame and then win that interaction. Round 2. Hopefully I'm not going to die early first round, and let's see if we're able to replicate our success. I'm going to go up left-hand side again. I think Sirius is indicating for me to go right. I am able to land one hit onto the Gray. I think I'll try and push and lane the Gray. I trade hits with it. And yeah, I did think that it was going to try that hook play, so that's why I paused for a second. I land one more hit. I'm one hit off a cookie popper. And my super is charged now. I think I'll try and pinch a little bit here, and guys, I always do that. I accidentally auto-aimed my super, but I meant to give it to the Jean. I don't think it would have made a massive difference, but something to consider there. Yeah, there also, with a little bit quicker of a reaction, maybe I would have been able to. Sirius goes down. Yeah, this looks like it's about to be game. Okay. I realized that Jean didn't get a pull off that game, so maybe if Jean's able to get a pull off within the first 2 rounds, that's going to be really solid for us if he's able to cycle those supers. But also I think that maybe I'll stay more middle this time. I did separate off to the right-hand side. Try and lane the Gray last round, but maybe that wasn't needed. Our Jean is like really up there right now. I don't want him to go down. That would be really unfortunate. I think Gray probably has another walking cane. Alright, both my teammates are actually pretty low right now. We need to watch out. And matter of fact, I'm pretty low as well. Gray's able to get me down with the teleport, unfortunately. And yeah, we do lose round 1. That's pretty unfortunate. Hopefully Jean will have a super soon. And I might try and get up on this tick a little bit because he's pushing us back pretty far. Okay, 2v2. They do have a thrower advantage, but honestly, I did sort of get caught by that tick there, unfortunately. Yeah, not the best game for me. But let's not get too upset here. Gotta keep the morale high, guys. 1-on-1 for the day, not terrible. Next into gem grab. I'll probably ban a Griff because they have first pick. Obviously, Crow is still going to be another good first pick, but I don't necessarily want the map to open up too much. That's why I prefer to ban the Griff instead. All right, they go Max first pick. I think that I'll go for a Crow. And I wonder, okay, teammate goes Crow. Totally fine with that. I could go for a lane brawler. Potentially a Tara. Chester could also be a decent lane. But I haven't played Tara in a while, so I think I'll stick with the Tara just to see how it's feeling in the meta right now. Guys, let me know in the comments whether you guys prefer using, whether you guys prefer to use the healing gadget, healing star power or damage one. I've recently switched to the healing one. I think that I find a little bit more use out of it for Tara. All right, double swoosh. I think once again, the Griff's gonna be a pretty safe first ban because I don't have access to it. Teammate bans Crow, which is unfortunate because we do have first pick. So with Crow down and Griff gone, I think I'm gonna go for my best anti-tank option with Chester probably. I think that's a pretty safe pick. So let's see what the opponents choose. They go for Clancy and Mo, so 2 anti-tanks of their own. I think that if that's the case, if we go for like some sort of controller or ranged brawler here, it's going to be a solid pick. Nita Buffy's is going to be good as well, or Ems. I'm fine with either of those, but maybe I'll recommend my other teammate a Charlie to be a little bit more of a ranged option. Or Jean, but I think I would. Janet, okay. I'm really liking the Janet. That's going to be able to, once charged super, get away from the Mo dive. And, okay. I'm actually somewhat worried about that alley. I think I do all right into it, but Ems and Janet, I think, will struggle a little bit. So I think I'm going to need to try my best to protect them. But then hopefully Ems and Janet are going to be able to do decently into the opponent's 2 damage dealers. Wow. Guys, I think this is the first time that I've played against a pro opponent. That Clancy is a pro. Pro rank. That's really... I've never seen that before. I want to really try my best not to feed it because you guys know how dangerous a fed Clancy can be. Janet does go up. Hopefully it makes its way back into our bush. I'm going to get this thing down. Oh, wow. I just auto-aimed that onto the alley. I think I would have been able to take it down, and I need to really watch out now because I think I'll break this bush. Honestly, I think because I don't really want that alley to sneak up on us. Clancy has a super, unfortunately. We're going to need to start getting some gems. I'm able to take the Mo down. And unfortunately, alley does get me down as well, and that's going to start a countdown for opponents. And yeah, I think that the skill gap is really showing itself here. Unfortunately, the opponents do get a pretty comfortable victory there. If I was gonna try and change anything for game 2, I think maybe I'll go a little bit more aggressive. Maybe up on the left-hand side, try and intercept that alley. Let's see. Trying to time those jumps. It is pretty difficult to do so. Ems is feeding that Clancy somewhat, but we do get a gem advantage, and hopefully I'm able to protect my Janet, which it does stay up. Mo goes down as well. And the scouting gadget seems to do its job pretty well by Janet. And I do have a stun now in case a Mo... Alright, I do slightly stun that alley, but maybe it was a little bit too preemptive of a play there. Wow. That's a bad death for me there. I thought I was going to be able to take down the Mo, but I wasn't able to. And that does give the opponents the countdown. Maybe I'm not able to land a stun either. And yeah, alright guys. That's going to be a pretty quick loss for us. Those opponents were pretty good. Sometimes that's how it is. That alley was a really good last pick. I will actually take a quick look at this pro profile. And yeah, this is pretty impressive. alley also pretty high up there, 7,600. So we're in some pretty good lobbies today. Let's see if we're able to string together a couple wins, though. That would be really good. Kaboom Canyon. Colette ban. I think that I'll ban maybe like a Griff, good defensive brawler, because I have a lot of, you know, base race brawlers like Bull, Miko, Melody. So if I was going to choose one of those, Griff would be a good counter to it. They go for a Crow first pick. Of my options available, I think that maybe Maybe the bull. Well, okay, teammate suggested Brock. Brock is probably a little bit safer earlier in the draft, so I'm not opposed to that recommendation, but we do need slightly better safe damage, so Naja, okay, and if my last teammate goes Melody, I think that our goal is going to be to play pretty defensive and let that Melody go to work on the safe. It's going to be interesting. They go for an Angelo. We do pretty well right now. We're matching range with them, which is good. It's going to come down to their last pick, I think. They go for a Lily. And could my teammate potentially go for a bull to counter the Lily? Or does it want to stay on... Because I think we need the safe damage, so I don't really like the Kalonzi necessarily. I'm going to suggest the bull or the Melody. Okay, they go for the Melody. So I think that's pretty smart of teammate to not go Kalonzi, because otherwise we may struggle to get safe damage. I think first play of the game, I'm going to open up our wall, which will let us move up quicker. And if that move doesn't work, then next game I won't do the same thing. But Lily coming up in the corner, and we get it down. I'm going to try and break up this grass a little bit because I think that that's going to be good in catching the Lily. Let's try and land a few hits on safe. I do get a super. And we do get the first pop down. I unfortunately get hit by that Angelo, but I should be back in time to help defend. I'm going to try and keep my range, make sure that Lily doesn't get a super onto me. It did just Shadow Realm. So, yep, I'm able to notice that, which is some good game awareness for me. And I'll continue to break up the bush. Trying to keep this crow away. But honestly, if we're just able to prevent it from getting its super, that's going to be sufficient. It's doing a pretty good job of dodging my attacks, unfortunately. But we do have an advantage right now, still. And I'm able to get that guy down, and what I'll do is... I wonder if my super will reach, and it actually does reach, so that's gonna almost get another pop on the safe. So we do have a good advantage right now, which is really good. I'll break up this last bit of bush. Lily comes, and the Naja snakes almost take it down. We're up by 25%, but... And Crow wastes a hyper. Unfortunately, it actually doesn't, but I'm going to hypercharge of my own, and hopefully, for game, get it down to 2%. But it is still going to be a victory, which is good. Whew. Okay, we had a really strong start. Hopefully, we're able to replicate that, and it should be another victory. I'll begin by breaking open our wall again. It seemed to work last game, so... And we can anticipate the Lily to probably, yep, go into the Shadow Realm. Alright, I'm able to get the Angelo down. This Lily, I feel like, could still sneak up on any of us, which is somewhat scary. And yep, it did actually just do just that. which is going to let them get some solid damage onto our safe. I'm going to try and break this up a little bit more because I think it's going to be easier for us the more that the bushes get broken up. All right. I do get the Angelo down. Crow's going to jump onto me. I get one hit on it. I wonder if that super was worth it, but I did want to take care of that Lily because we are pretty behind in terms of damage. Hopefully the Melody will be able to help turn that deficit down a little bit, but right now the other team is really in an advantageous position. And yeah, it seems like game 2 is probably going to be a loss. Which is unfortunate. Although the Melody did get it somewhat close. I think if I'm able to break this open and then get a hypercharge on the safe, potentially. And I do break a shield, so if Melody has a super... Guys. If Melody has a super... Yes! Wow! Wow, what a comeback there, guys. That's really good. That's really good. Very well played. I was able to block a little bit at the end there, and we came out with the victory. That was a well-earned victory. All right, hot zone. I'll ban the Griff. I'm thinking that Griff's going to be my main choice of ban for most of our matches here, most modes. And Crow is open, so if it remains so, I'll go for the Crow pick. Although I am last pick, so maybe I'll recommend it to teammate. See if he's interested in that. For my own last pick, I could potentially go for a Kenji. Although if teammates both go with short range, maybe Crow would be better. I don't think it'll last this long in the draft, but we'll have to see. Okay, teammate goes Crow. I'm actually happy with that. Crow and Bull. Teammate suggesting me a Penny. So that would be pretty decent, I guess. Opponents go for a Colt and a Bow. So actually, I think that I'm going to double up and go for this Kenji because I think that... All right, teammate wants to go Kenji. I'm fine with that. If he's comfortable on that. I think that Kenji Bull should be pretty aggressive and hopefully be able to take this team down. I did go pretty quickly with that Kenji pick, so maybe I should have been a little bit less fast with that decision, but I just saw that they didn't really have anything that does very well into our level of aggression. So that's what made me choose what I did. I'm able to support a little bit. And yeah, we do have an advantage here. I'm wondering if the opponent will try and come up into our zone at all. And the Bow does. But that mine actually helps me out by clearing out the middle there. I'm able to land a few hits. And now that our zone's taken, I will try and help my teammates push up a little bit. I do go down for the first time there, but we do have a very strong advantage, and if not teammates, I'll be able to just super right into the zone, try and get a little bit more percentage, take down the Najia, and hypercharge per game. Really well played by us there. I'm actually not sure what teammates did, but we had a really strong start there, so hopefully they're able to replicate that as I secure our own zone. I'm going to say well played to these guys. And all right, match 2. Kenji does go down. I'm going to try and help this bull a little bit by trying to get some shots onto those guys. I'm actually not sure where the bow is, but all right, seems like the bow's not going to be pushing our zone. Okay, he actually did push our zone, but I think it's going to be all right. Just get these mines down, pop them. I accidentally get hit there, but just get that last one down and then come up to help my teammates. Colt didn't know that I was there. Pop my gadget on him, take him down. Bow hyper mines. And wow, even more dominant victory than first time. We all put up some decent stats there. And all right, guys, we're actually doing pretty well here. Let's go into our next match. One more hot zone map. As you guys know, we have first pick. I'm going to recommend my teammate the Crow and ban the Griff. I think that that's going to be my standard procedure in every hot zone. Have around 20 minutes left in this session, so hopefully we're able to end it on a strong note. I'm going to recommend my teammate the Crow pick probably. And he is showing it, which is great. That's a really solid first pick from teammate there. What does my other teammate have open? They have a penny. I'll just throw that suggestion out. Chester's decent. Kenji's decent. Mo is honestly decent. Bo is honestly decent. Wow, teammate has a lot of brawlers up. Otis. They go for the bow. Into Amber and Bo, I think I'll want to go someone with a little bit of range. So I think that Penny's not a terrible pick. And if teammate wants to go for a thrower, I'm not sure if Willow's the best thrower for hot zone. I think maybe a Barley could be better if they want to go for the thrower. But that does leave us somewhat susceptible to a last pick. So maybe it'll be interesting. If the opponents go for like a Mortis or Kenji, I think that maybe the Willow would have been better. So that could be an accident from me. But in terms of like overall hot zone effectiveness, I think Barley is better than Willow. Yeah, so they do go for the Mortis. This is going to be interesting. Hopefully I'm going to be able to protect the Barley. Otherwise, this could end up being a pretty poor draft from us. All right, here we go. Wow, I didn't realize that the bow had gotten mines down already. Both teammates are low there, but they are able to take down the mortis, thankfully. I'm going to get a mortar down. Honestly, I'm fine if bow takes the mortar down because we do need some zone presence. And yeah, honestly, I will take the blame there for recommending the barley to teammate. You could say it's still a little bit early to call a game, but it's really not going in a great manner right now. And yeah, unfortunate here. Is Crow going to be able to get off a hyper super? He's not able to. Okay. Yeah, this was... I will take the blame, like I said. Poor draft. So yeah, I think that it's going to be better to always leave throwers except for Willow for last pick. We are able to get the zone slightly better this time around. And Barley's able to take up a really solid position, which is very good for us. I'm able to get the Mortis down alongside our Crow. And a much better start from us. If we're able to get this control at the start of the matches, it seems like this may actually be possible. We have a pretty solid advantage here, so it seems like game 2 will actually go in our favor. I'm going to just try and maintain some zone presence here. Barley's able to trade. And with that hypercharge, hopefully teammates will be able to walk up a little bit. And wow, really well played. We did a great job playing better there. Mortis going on the right-hand side actually, I think, helped the Barley push up, and that was game-changing. So let's see if we're going to be able to replicate that game 2. This time the opponents ended up changing their strategy a little bit. And it ended up working, unfortunately. In the sense that our start wasn't as good as last time, but hopefully if I'm able to charge up a mortar somewhat soon, it could be of use. I do unfortunately go down there, which is a bad time to go down. And yeah, it seems like this match is pretty similar to first one in a sense that we are getting dominated pretty early on. Yeah, unfortunate here. And yeah, unfortunately we do take the loss there, guys, but... And wow, okay. I did put up some shocking stats as well, unfortunately. Yeah. Let's just maintain our composure here. Try and get back on the winning side of things. And all right, we have Jump Fort. This map is a tricky map. Central control is very important here. I think that I'll potentially ban a Lily or maybe an Alley because they have last pick. And I'll recommend teammate Crow, as usual. Or Griff if he has it, actually. But... okay, teammate selects the bow. If Crow stays open, that'll be my pick. Opponents go for the Crow, so... Crow and Chester. Since that's the case, maybe a Gus will be decent. Or Charlie. Just because of the cocoon mechanic, I think that that's a alright pick. And teammate goes with the Clonzy, but I think this leaves us susceptible to a aggressive last pick from opponents. And they go for a Grom, which I've never seen a Grom picked on this map before, but we are actually not the best composition into it unless that bow is able to get some mines down. I generally go through the middle, but I think maybe I'll try going for a lane because I think laning will be pretty possible against these guys. And I do unfortunately go down to the Chester. I get hit by the Grom Super, but I do also go down because of that Chester, which did a good job sneaking up the side. Chester does go down. I get a hit on the Crow. Grom does well to take me down there. If I'm able to get up and get a super on this Crow, that would be really good. I think potentially I'll try landing from the side. And Chester is in here with me. I'm gonna just put it in the cocoon just so I don't go down. And all right, we are 1 gem off from the countdown. Crow does have a super though. It does waste it, I would say. And my teammates both have their hypers down. And hopefully that Clancy I think actually will end up going down. But Bo is able to get out with over 10 gems. And hopefully I will be able to help protect this guy. And all right, well played by my teammates. We're able to get the victory there. All right, so I think that I will go for the lane again, but I'm gonna just be scouting a little bit heavier because that Chester was able to take me down pretty easily first round. And yeah, this time I'm able to stay up in the initial interaction. And I think that I should be able to do a decent job, and I do trade, which is better than last time. Teammate barely managed to stay alive with the crow, due to the crow. Chester comes in middle. I'm curious as to what super he may have. All right. My spiders helped me a little bit there, but the teammates do have a somewhat decent positioning on us. But since it was in our spawn, my teammates were able to respawn. Chester is going to be trying to flank us, but it was able to be mitigated. If I get my spiders down, that should be able to tank a few shots. I'm going to get this crow down for countdown. All right, I'm worried about this Chester potentially coming up on our side, but I think right now we're in a decent position. And well played by the team here. We're able to secure a sweep here. Really good. Let's see our stats. Pretty solid. Unfortunately, we do go negative, but we did make a decent play there at the end to start the countdown. And all right, guys. Last match of the day. Let's see if we're going to be able to end the session off with a win. In hot potato. We have first pick. I think that potentially I'll go for a safe first pick like Crow. So maybe I'll choose to ban maybe like a Miko or a Barley. That's I'm not completely sure. I could go for the Chuck here, but early on in the draft, I wonder if it could get countered. So maybe Crow's a safer first pick, and if teammates, one of them have a Chuck that they could pick. Okay, so opponents go for Chuck. I'm going to recommend my teammate Cordelius because that is a shutdown to Chuck. They also go for the Griff. If we're able to get the Cordelius, that's going to be really good. Yes. And then also we want to potentially base race. So it's my other teammate. He goes for a Rico, which is not the best base race brawler, but it does have some range over the Griff, which is going to be nice. So I'll actually be interested in how well our Cordelius is going to be able to play against the Chuck. And potentially I'll ask to switch with him. But it seems like he's confident with his ability in that, so I'll let him show us what he has. That's going to be the pivotal matchup, guys. Their Chuck versus our Cordelius. If our Cordelius is consistently winning that matchup, it's going to be an easy win for us. All right, I'll start scouting here. Griff actually breaks the map open, which I would say makes my life somewhat easier. And I'm not fully sure where this Chuck is. Okay, there he is. We do manage to get him down. And all right, Cordelius is able to get the first Shadow Realm and take out the Chuck, which is really great. And I am here just holding my position against this Griff, slowly charging up my Hypercharge. Rico is able to get one level off the safe, which is really great. Cordelius is just playing this really excellently, which is actually the exact reason why I didn't want to go Chuck first pick, because I knew that potentially it would be dangerous. It leaves us susceptible to getting countered. And our Rico is doing a really good job to get onto the safe. If anything, I will just only go in if I get my Hypercharge. But actually, it's low enough now that my super will be able to take it down. So that was really well played by us, guys. And this is a reminder that if you do end up going Chuck, always be aware that there are brawlers that can counter it pretty easily, Cordelius being the best. So if you're going to go for a Chuck first pick, potentially banging that Cordelius could be a smart option. I'll be interested in whether the Griff chooses to open up the map again. And it doesn't do the same map opening, which honestly I think is pretty smart, because I think the map being so open is actually what helped our team out, because we have two solid ranged brawlers. I'm gonna see if the Griff's in this bush. He's not. I do get one hit off onto the safe. And I'm gonna pop my gadget here, which is gonna let us get some solid damage. And we're able to get to a pretty solid lead. I do go down, so does the Rico, I think. Or no, that was the Cordelius, but yeah, this time their Chuck is definitely doing a little bit better of a job. But now that the map's getting slightly more opened, I think we're gonna be able to do all right. I'm gonna go ahead and get a jump onto the safe, pop up a shield, try and get some more damage. We're able to get the last level cracked, which is really good. And Rico's actually doing really good in the corner there. Cordelius is also starting to do a really good job holding their Chuck at bay. And we are able to most likely take this Griff down. And Rico gets it down for game, guys. Really well played by both my teammates. And yeah. Guys, with that, I think that it's been roughly around an hour. So let's count our record. We are 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 4-2, 4-3, 5-3, guys. And yeah, 5-3. That is actually our most positive record so far. As you can see, we've ended at 6,400 elo. And with that, I'll